Yeah, 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 D, I love. Yeah, 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 D, I love. Yeah, 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 D, I love. We about to turn in.
Got Blue coming in, y'all.
Oh, okay.
What's good, Blue?
What's up, man? What's up? How are you guys?
Yeah, we're doing
Good.
So so let's go with let's shoot from the hip from
I mean, so I think out of the FCS guys, I think Aubrey probably had the second best week out of all the FCS guys. Isaiah was
Whoa.
probably around the third or fourth spot. I think Isaiah, it was a lot of growing pains early in the week. I mean, look, a move from edge rusher to Mike, I don't
Right.
think people understand how hard of a transition that is. So he had to learn things like flipping his hips in open space, his footwork. And when you're an edge, you read different offensive keys. Your eyes are in the backfield. You're kind of reading tackles. When you move to a Mike, it's the guards, it's the H backs. There's so much more you have to read because the Mike linebacker's position is almost like the quarterback of the defense. So I mean, it'd be the equivalent of like a tight end moving to quarterback.
So is he a hybrid player? Is he better standing up, or he can do both? What is Isaiah Lane? Would you call him a hybrid player?
Yeah, for sure. I think where he'll make his money at the next level, and I think you saw this today, is in certain situations you can move him to the Mike, move him to like a weak side, off the ball linebacker, and he can eat there. And then in specialized pass rush situations, when you bring your normal defensive ends down to your three techs down inside, you shift him to an edge rusher. And man, we see what can happen when he gets off the edge. I mean, his athleticism, his
Right.
arm length, his overall length is impressive. And if he can keep the key for him in one-on-ones throughout the week has been keeping the offensive linemen, keeping their hands off of him. Because if he's so light that if some of those 6'8" offensive linemen, 300 pounds, if they get a hold of him, he's getting taken for a ride. But if he can develop good hand techniques in terms of just keeping people from staying outside of his chest, man, he's going to be an issue because there's not many offensive tackles that have the athleticism to handle him off the edge.
Well, let me say this right here. You got somebody, I can't hardly see. This says Ram 67. It says Land remind me of Isaiah Simmons. He's not that good. I know. Is this an Isaiah Simmons boy from Clemson?
Yeah, it's the kid from
Clemson. No, he ain't that good. He ain't no Isaiah Simmons now.
Well, I wouldn't say that he's not that good. They're two completely different players.
Right.
Isaiah Simmons was never an edge guy. Like he played linebacker and safety at Clemson. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a completely different thing. And when looking at Isaiah throughout coverage drills and things like that, he doesn't have the athletic upside of an Isaiah
Because that Simmons kid is going to be all pro in the next 2 years, isn't he?
Yeah, and I mean that's a guy who ran like a 4.3 or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
talking about. A 4.3. Yeah. They're completely different players. I think Isaiah Lynn has the ability to be really good if he can add some weight, man. I mean, you're looking at someone even like a Leonard Floyd type of player for him as well if he can put on some weight. But for Aubrey, I mean, coming into the week, every question that you had about him in terms of size, in terms of just how does his game translate against P5 guys to the next level, he checked every box. Every scout I talked to, every other media person I talked to absolutely fell in love with him. And here's something, too, that I think a lot of people overlook. If you've never covered a postseason game like the Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, a lot of, we can put so much on camera. What happens off camera in terms of team interviews, things like that is where your money's made. And everyone I talked to, just from interviewers to everyone, said that he's one of the best guys behind the scenes to talk to. He's so open. He's so personable. And so those A-plus interviews count almost just as much as him performing on the field at a high level.
Well, let me ask you this now. Would you rather for him to go play for the Ryan guy with the Houston Texans, or would you rather see him play for Dan Quinn with the Cowboys?
I think his best fit
Steelers
his best fit would be an aggressive defense. Where if he gets with a defensive coordinator, defensive mind, that's going to let him come downhill and they utilize him in terms of a run stopper and a blitzer, man, I mean, his potential's through the roof. That what you don't want him to get into is a defense that is more of like a 4-2-5, like 3-3-5, 4-2-5, where they put him in coverage a lot. He's matched up with running backs out of the backfield, tight ends. Like that's not where Aubrey thrives. You need him in the box. You need him blitzing on third down situations or in just any terms of pass rush situations. And also, too, I don't think people know this. I wrote about it before the Senior Bowl. I don't know how many people saw the article. His coverage grade this season, so 2 years ago, his first year at Jackson State, his coverage grade was atrocious by Pro Football Focus. It was like a 50. It was like a 59. This year, I think he had 7 or 8 pass breakups, and his coverage grade was a 90, which is considered elite. So he's really stepped up in the open field in terms of covering. The only running back he had problems with this week or two was Tajay Spears from Tulane, who was the running back of the week selection and is one of the best players down here. And Eric Gray from Oklahoma, Tennessee transfer. And I talked to Mr. Gaddy, Niles' dad, and Eric was playing when Niles was at Tennessee. And and he said that he was doing that to everybody. And Eric Gray is a guy who could have 800 yards receiving it from the running back spot. So Aubrey had a great week. I'll say this. Aubrey had an A+ week this week.
So if you had a choice to send him to Belichick or Pete Carroll, who would you send him to?
I'm always leaning Belichick with what he's developed at the linebacker spot in terms of when you look at, I mean, what Vrabel, Brewski, who else do you want to throw in there? Mosley. I mean, we have a list of linebackers the Patriots have developed.
That's right.
I would always.
Didn't they have Hightower? Dante, was it Dante Hightower?
Yeah, Dante Hightower. I mean, listen, I would.
One boy named Mayo. Was it somebody named Mayo?
Jerome Mayo.
It was the kid from Tennessee.
Tennessee,
Mayo.
So, with your bet, if you could just have your best guess of the top 5 from the FCS to get drafted, would you include Aubrey Miller amongst that 5 with Cody? I think his name is Cody Mock.
Yeah, the kid from North Dakota State. He's the consensus. Cody Mock this week, he would be my number 1 FCS player this week. I mean, listen, he played center, guard, and tackle throughout the week. I mean, the versatility is unmatched. I think he won 98% of his one-on-ones. And I mean, the kid's just different. He's the same as Aubrey in terms of him killing interviews. So I would say Mock has a chance to go late first round. I think Tucker Kraft, who he was overcoming an injury, so he didn't have any postseason All-Star games. The South Dakota State tight end is going to be in the top 5. I think Aubrey could slide in around the 4th or 5th spot in terms of FCS prospect. Andre Islovas, the Princeton wide receiver, is going to be someone that's probably going to be in that conversation as well. The Sacramento State kid who is down here, he got invited from the NFLPA Bowl. He'll be in the conversation. That's a guy who's 6'3", 220 and can play safety. I mean, just next level athleticism and size. But I think Aubrey and Isaiah going into this week, they were probably day 3 picks, late day 3 picks at that, especially for Aubrey. You're looking at those guys potentially could be day 2 picks now. And I think they're right in the conversation. I still would say Mark Evans is the best HBCU prospect this year from UAPB offensive line. I mean, I love that kid. I'm talking about he's going to be probably a 10-year starter in the NFL as long as he stays healthy. He is just that good. I would say after Mark Evans, Aubrey and Isaiah will have a great shot at being the next 2 HBCU players drafted in day 2.
Right.
So
now you think is Mark as good as Armstead?
Ooh, I don't want to put those type of expectations on him, man. That's a lot to ask for, but he has the potential to follow in his footsteps. I'll say that. I can't say that he's going to be better than Armstead or on that, because I mean you're talking about a guy who Armstead potentially could be in the Hall of Fame. I mean that dude's been an All-Pro, so I'm not going to put that expectations, but I'll say. Go ahead.
But Armstead was a project for the New Orleans Saints when he came out.
Oh yeah, he was
a project.
I'll say surprised with with Evans, if he's a Pro Bowl guy, I'll put that out there right now. But man, projecting guys as all pros, I don't even want to do that for like the early first round guys, like the Bryce Youngs and the CJ Strouds and everything. I mean, it's hard to be an all pro regardless of where you're drafted. But I'll say I can definitely see Mark Evans having one of the best careers out of all the HBCU or FCS prospects in this draft.
Right. Yeah.
Are you going to be in New Orleans too for the Legacy Bowl, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be down there and for the HBCU Combine.
Okay.
So everybody, if you guys want anything regarding the stats, breakdowns of all of FCS, of course, if you have not subscribed to the Blue Bloods, go to his page, subscribe. He also has a website. Do you want to shout out your website?
Yes, bluebloodscfb.com. We have other interviews on there, man. We just all the stuff that doesn't go on YouTube goes on the website. So it's kind of like a supplementary thing for everything that goes on YouTube. And man, I appreciate you guys having me on y'all's show, man. Y'all are doing a hell of a job. And I remember both of you guys, calling into the show and me watching you guys start all this. So I got to give y'all a shout out, man. Y'all already doing it big.
Blue, let me ask you, Blue, let me ask you this last question.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to She Loves Thee. So, what did you think? Too much? Not enough? Need more facts? What other topics do you think I should cover? Comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, D, I